Beautiful move.
LeBron, by the way, an 18.9.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just too much of that action. And all God's people said,
Amen.
Amen, brother.
High school 3-on-2 break.
Amen, brother.
119-96 is your final. Lakers, for the first time this season, have lost 3 in a row.
The Lakers have now dropped 3 straight games, and everyone keeps avoiding the clear issue. LeBron James remains in Los Angeles, and it's time to face the discussion no one wants to address. The Kings era in LA has reached its end, and denying it only postpones the unavoidable. What comes next could surprise you, but the signs have been there for quite some time, now up until this point.
What did you see overall in the game, kind of starting in that first quarter on the glass and the turnovers, and how that prevailed through it?
Yeah, the two words of the day were effort and execution. And, I feel like when we've done both of those things at a high level, we've been a good basketball team. When we haven't, we're a terrible basketball team. And tonight we were a terrible basketball team. And that started legitimately right away.
Ever found yourself staying in something far longer than you should have just because accepting it was finished felt too difficult? Leave a comment, since that's exactly where the Los Angeles Lakers are with LeBron James right now. And everybody else can see it except them. Recently, the Los Angeles Lakers were completely crushed by the Houston Rockets in 19-96, marking their 3rd straight defeat and revealing what people kept ignoring. This squad simply isn't working. And right in the middle of everything is LeBron James, who scored just 18 points in a 21-point blowout loss, only 18 points. That's the stat line of the player meant to carry this franchise toward title contention right now today overall.
So they need to listen to you.
Oh, they got to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not they pretty on paper, but they can't guard anybody. You cannot play in the NBA today if you're not athletic. You cannot. I mean, so especially big guys are irrelevant anymore. The game is led by perimeter players. And if you don't have athletic ability on the perimeter, you're going to struggle in the NBA. That's just the truth of the matter.
Let's begin with the harsh truth that the analysts on the broadcast didn't hesitate to highlight. Charles Barkley openly said the Los Angeles Lakers couldn't defend a bloody nose. That isn't just talk, that's reality. The Los Angeles Lakers opened the season 19-7, which seemed impressive at first glance, but now they sit at 19-10, and their point differential was only slightly above even. That shows they were barely winning tight games early and are now being exposed. One analyst even described their record as fraudulent. And honestly, that's the perfect way to put it. They appeared strong in the standings, but anyone actually watching the games could notice the flaws. They can't defend anyone. They lack any real defensive identity. And when pressure builds, they completely collapse. That's not a championship-level team. That's not even a conference finals contender. That's a first-round exit just waiting to happen.
And I think if they want to be a better team, they need to form some type of identity. I don't know which team I'm looking at sometimes. Sometimes they play fabulous basketball, even on the defensive end, and tonight it looked like it was, lackluster efforts.
I know it's traditional, but I think the Lakers need to play some zone until they figure out. Play some zone. Well, when you play zone, that's throwing up the white flag, red flag, blue flag.
The broadcast showed the Houston Rockets running what looked like high school 3-on-2 fast breaks because the Los Angeles Lakers transition defense was that poor. High school. That's the kind of effort and structure we're seeing from a squad that's supposed to chase championships. And LeBron James, who has always taken pride in his basketball IQ and leadership, is on the court while all of this unfolds. Here's what needs to be said plainly. LeBron James is 40 years old. He's the NBA's all-time leading scorer. He owns 4 championships. He's one of the greatest players in basketball history. And his run as the focal point of a title contender is finished. That's not disrespect. That's simply reality. Father Time remains undefeated, and even LeBron James can't outrun it forever.
Watching that game last night, and I was a teammate with LeBron James, grew up playing against him, played with him in AAU, McDonald's All-American. I know this man. When he's not engaged or he feels some type of way, it speaks in his body language. Last night, his body language was awful. He was not engaged. He was pouting. He was moping. He was walking up and down the damn floor. He was complaining. And I just think we're to this point. What LeBron and the Lakers have, their relationship has run its course. And they need to figure out a solution. And the solution is not him being in the Los Angeles Lakers uniform.
The issue is that the Los Angeles Lakers have shaped their entire organization around keeping LeBron James satisfied. They brought in his son, Bronny James, creating NBA history with the first father-son duo to share the court together. It's a great storyline, a special moment for the James family, but from a basketball standpoint, it shows the Lakers are making choices based on legacy and narrative instead of what truly improves the team. Bronny James isn't ready for NBA minutes. Everyone sees it, yet he's on the roster because of who his father is.
What kind of read do you have on the Lakers right now?
Yeah, the Lakers might be, that record might be a little fraudulent, right? Because they were 19-9 going to today's game. Sounds good, right? Well, now they're 19-10. And if you look at their point differential, it was barely above even. And so there's some cracks showing here because you do have Luka, you have LeBron, and Austin Reeves. But Austin Reeves left the game with a calf strain, and you have to be really careful with those things, right? Because calf strains can be tricky. They can flare into Achilles, and then all of a sudden you're lost for the season. So they're going to be really careful with him.
They've filled the roster with role players like Austin Reeves, who exited this game with a calf strain that could become more serious. Jared Vanderbilt and Marcus Smart are expected to anchor the defense. But an analyst noted that when those players are on the court, the offense takes a hit. It's a classic catch-22 that JJ Redick is trying to balance. And honestly, it just isn't working. Speaking of JJ Redick, let's address the coaching situation. The Los Angeles Lakers hired a first-year head coach with no prior professional coaching experience and gave him a roster led by LeBron James. That's putting someone in a tough position because when things fall apart, and they are falling apart, who is truly in control of decisions? Is it JJ Redick or is it LeBron James, who has long been known for having strong influence over roster and coaching choices?
Offensively, with those three guys on the floor, they have the seventh best offensive rating in the NBA. However, that defensive rating is 24th, and you saw it today. The Rockets got anywhere they wanted to go. They could not get a stop. KD goes for 25. Alperen Sengun has a double-double. Amen Thompson absolutely ruined those guys. Nobody could stop him today. And so if you're the Lakers, that has to be sort of worrisome for you that you can't get any defensive stops. Their best two defensive players are Jared Vanderbilt and Marcus Smart, but you have those guys on the floor. Now all of a sudden you're a little offensively challenged. I know Jared Vanderbilt had a pretty good game offensively tonight. We've seen flashes from Marcus Smart offensively this season, but it's sort of a catch-22 for JJ Redick about how he mixes and matches.
The broadcast pointed out that when LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves share the court, the team's offensive rating ranks 7th in the league. On the surface, that sounds respectable until you realize their defensive rating sits all the way down at 24th. In other words, they can put points on the board, but they struggle badly to get stops. And in today's NBA, where speed, athleticism, and perimeter play dominate, that weakness gets exposed quickly. Younger, quicker teams are simply outrunning and outplaying them. Take the game against Houston as an example. The Rockets, a team that's been inconsistent and doesn't even have a true starting point guard, walked into crypto, Camarena, and made the Lakers look completely overmatched. Alperen Sengun recorded a double-double. Amen Thompson dominated, and no one on the Lakers could contain him. Houston was getting whatever shots they wanted, which is embarrassing for a team that claims to be a contender. Here's the uncomfortable truth. LeBron James is part of the issue. Not the only issue, but definitely a factor. At 40, he can't consistently deliver the two-way impact that elite teams expect from their best player. He still has scoring bursts, but the defensive intensity isn't steady. Transition defense suffers, and when your leader isn't setting the tone on that end, the rest of the team tends to follow. One analyst made a key point: you simply can't survive in today's NBA without athleticism, especially on the perimeter. Big, slow lineups don't cut it anymore. The Lakers fit that description too well. They lack the quickness and explosiveness needed to match up with top-tier teams. And LeBron, as great as he's been, isn't the same athletic force he once was. There was even talk about switching to zone defense, which says a lot. As one analyst joked, that's basically waving the white flag. It means you can't guard opponents one-on-one, so you're trying to mask your weaknesses schematically. That's not how championship teams operate. That's what struggling teams resort to. Tim Doyle didn't hold back either, saying the Lakers have a 2% chance of winning the title. Harsh, but not entirely unfounded. Their record looks decent at 19-10, yet their point differential is barely positive. They're getting blown out by teams they should compete with, and there's no real sign of defensive improvement. They look good on paper, but the deeper you look, the more flaws appear. The bigger issue is structural. LeBron's presence is preventing a full rebuild. The team can't fully develop young talent because they're focused on maximizing his remaining years. At the same time, they can't fully invest in the future because they're trying to win now. That leaves them stuck in the middle, not strong enough to contend, but not weak enough to reset through the draft. LeBron is the leader by default, given his RA Sum A. But at this stage of his career, after more than 2 decades in the league, it's fair to question whether he can still provide the energy and consistency needed to elevate the team. The Lakers measure success by championships, not playoff appearances or division titles. And as currently constructed, this team doesn't look capable of winning one. The front office may need to face that reality. Ideally, there should be an honest conversation about the future. That could mean trading LeBron to a contender where he can chase another ring in a smaller role. It could mean retirement and a transition into a different role within the organization. Or it could mean both sides parting ways so the Lakers can finally commit to a rebuild. More likely, though, they'll make minor roster tweaks, hope better health solves their problems, and end up with another early playoff exit. Then next season, they'll be trying to figure out how to build around an even older version of LeBron. Yes, his career achievements, like leading all players in Christmas Day appearances and scoring, are incredible. But those are reflections of the past. The Lakers need to start making decisions based on the future. Adding a role player or two won't fix their core issues. They need a major roster overhaul, and that's difficult when so much is tied to a 40-year-old superstar, regardless of his legacy. This isn't about disrespect, it's about realism. Right now, the Lakers are stuck in the middle, good enough to reach the playoffs, but not good enough to make a serious run. Their recent losing streak only reinforces what's been clear all season: they're not true contenders. At some point, something has to change, but until the organization is willing to make tough, potentially unpopular decisions, they'll likely remain exactly where they are, stuck between past success and an uncertain future.